All righty. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Virat, how's your day going?
Doing good. Pretty excited for about this stream.
Nice. New haircut?
Oh yes,
Fresh. Looking
I
fresh.
hope it looks good.
Oh, looks great. Love the background. I know you just moved into a new place, so looks like you're
Oh
getting
yeah,
the background set up, looking good.
yep. I'm trying. I'm going to change it, but yeah, experimenting with background.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I'm here in I work at this like co-working space. So they have a conference room I just booked for the time. So it's got actually nice like modern looking background. Um, Kind of had a few almost emergencies getting started today where my like monitor screen, I thought it would fit because it's like one of those things that you bolt on the desk, but the table's like super thick and it was like literally like 2 millimeters too small for it. So I had to grab my other
Oh no,
stand for it. I was scrambling around, but we got it. We're all here, um, all ready for this.
glad it fixed.
Cool.
Awesome. So I guess people are joining in, but yeah, we can start any moment.
Yeah, let's give it like maybe one more minute for people to hop on and then we'll get started.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's like we got Nimesh in there. Hey Nimesh. I think we've got some others as well. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started here. So just kind of before we jump in, just wanted to do a quick round of intros for Virat and myself. I think a lot of you guys probably know us just from LinkedIn or Twitter because you've seen that, but just quick intro. So for myself, my name is Bradford. I work at Amply. For the last couple years, I've been really just leading the dev team there. I am transitioning a bit more into like a marketing growth role, which I'm really excited about. And why I'm doing a lot more content, including this stream. So definitely like there will be a lot more of this to come for me. Um, and then Virat, he's worked with us for I think it's been a year and a half, and I brought him on just seeing a lot of the cool stuff he did at with X Adam on Twitter. We became friends, and then Virat is the one who really built out Miyagi. If you guys heard of that, so Virat and I worked very closely on that. Just Virat was the mastermind behind it, but really led out all the development on that, and then I was doing more of the marketing there. So know Virat very well, and I'll let you kind of cover a bit more. You also, are also doing some work with Webflow now, which is really exciting. But yeah, why don't you share a bit,
Yeah.
Virat?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I've recently joined Webflow as a developer advocate, and I'm also part of an empty team where we are building tools and apps around Webflow ecosystem. So stay tuned. We have lots of things coming in near future. Excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, sweet. Let's jump in, guys, and kind of walk through what the plan is today. So, really, let me pull this up. This is kind of the agenda today. So, we're kind of first thing, we just want to cover what are code components, kind of go through some questions there. Don't want to spend like too much time in that. Really want to get in and build some stuff for you guys and show you what these are. I did a quick kind of test run yesterday, but really, I'm still pretty fresh here. Virat knows React in and out, and so he's going to be kind of our guide here as we do this. So that will be the main portions. We're just going to build, and I'll have questions as we go. I want this to kind of be very beginner friendly. I'm really not a React expert by any means. Never really used it much. And so hopefully this can kind of be a cool intro for you guys. We will use AI to kind of go beyond the basic stuff I can build with my limited knowledge and see more of the potential of what code components can do. And then after we've kind of built some components out, we will just do a quick Q&A and talk through like what are the pros and cons of code components, really hear from Virat's expertise on what he thinks these are going to grow into be, and maybe what are they going to be used for and what are they not going to be used for. So that's really the plan today. So let's jump into our first question. What are code components? And guys, as we go through, I also wanted to mention, feel free to just drop anything in the chat. We're watching it. So if you've got a question or think we're brushing over something too much, drop it in there. We'll see it, pin your question on the screen and answer that. So feel free to, be engaged in the chat. But yeah, let's go through that. Virat, what are code components? Kind of maybe just give us a quick overview for those of us who haven't been following along a whole lot on what these are and what they can do for us.
Yeah. So as you know, like Webflow recently released this new feature called Code Component, and it's a component, but it's created with code. So it's a little bit different. Now we are allowed to use our React code and import visually inside Webflow Designer, right? So you can think like this, that if you have an existing system which is built on top of React, you can easily now migrate your React site into Webflow. You can convert React components into Webflow components, which is code component. And as how like component works with props, you can also have props on the code component, and you can customize how you like. So we're definitely going to dive deeper on like how code component works and how to set up this one. Um, so yeah, like I think the best place to start is like with documents. Webflow team have spent a lot of time to polishing these documents, and it's pretty much easy to like get started. So the first of all, like I want to set the expectation. We are going to start with like very basic code component. uh, we will start with the hello world, and basically going to deploy it to Webflow and start using those components. And yeah, right now with code component you're only allowed to use React, but might unlock in future.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I think from what I've seen, I would say there's kind of two main like ways I'm seeing people use code components. The first is like, taking like an existing app or product. Like if you're working for a client and they've got their app and they want to bring something from the app into Webflow and use that on a page or use it in a bunch of different pages, you can use code components to do that, which is really cool. But I think also, the other use case is just like for all of us who, you know, are just developing Webflow sites. Like there's ways we can use React to just make sites better or more powerful, rather than it being like something that's integrated with the client app or something. There's a lot of things we can do with React to basically extend the power of what we're doing with Webflow, which I think that's maybe more the side that I'm really excited about, especially just like from the little I've played around with it. I think one thing that's really cool is how kind of accessible this makes vibe coding in Webflow, because if you're doing something with Webflow, you're kind of copying pasting a lot of code from AI. And the nice thing about code components is you can really set everything up in Cursor or Claude or something, and then just really it has the full access to do anything beyond just the like front end visual stuff. You could even set up a backend with it or something. Like it seems way more powerful than the existing stuff. So it seems really cool. So I'm excited to jump in.
Totally. Like as you said, we can build which is any native component that it's not supported in Webflow yet, we can like bring into Webflow right now. And the hidden side which we are like missing out is, if we ever wanted to deploy a React app inside a Webflow, we need to like host the code somewhere and then like grab the link and embed into Webflow, and that's how. And if we want to update that particular component again, we need to again do that. So that's actually a good side of like code component. We just
Mm.
use their Webflow CLI and just push the changes, and Webflow devs can like review the changes, accept the changes, and like code components like right there.
Yeah. No, that side of it is really nice from what I've seen. Just the dev experience is super good. And you guys will see that as we jump in. But I think, without further ado, let's get into this. Let's build. I think that's what people are here for. So let me share here. I'll kind of be leading this out, and then Virat will guide me through this. So feel free to follow along. Let me share. All right. Okay. So we've got the Webflow docs. Let me make this bigger for everybody. Then I'll zoom this in. Okay, how's that looking?
That looks pretty good.
That looking good, Virat? Cool. All right, so we're on the docs page. Talk me through where I should go here, Virat.
Yep. So on the like this particular landing page, they have explained like what are the code components, how to start, and like key capabilities. So as I mentioned, like we are allowed to like import our React component, bring to Webflow. So I think the great place to start is like let's just start with the coding. Let's jump into action. So you can like click on the quick start.
Okay.
Yep. And the very first thing is we need to set up our environment. So I would like to like open the cursor and like also open the terminal.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so just kind of a couple kind of background things for what kind of the stack we're going to be using today. So I'm using Cursor. I am on their paid plan here, so that's just their $20 plan. You don't really need that if you're not going to use much of the AI, but I've had that for, I haven't used it a lot, but I've got it there. So it's not too expensive, but you could definitely be doing this for free just in like VS Code or anything else. But we'll use Cursor today. So I'm going to go in here and then let's create a new project. So okay. So basically just created a new folder. So we're in there, in a fresh new project. And then you mentioned we need to open the terminal.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yep. New terminal. And uh, let's make the cursor window bigger and increase the font size so everybody can.
Good call. Good call. How's
Okay.
that? Better?
Look,
See there? Okay.
it looks better. Yep.
Okay.
Um, Okay, so the very first thing is we are going to set up is a white project. So with white is a bundler which going to help us to like preview our React code, and also it's going to install required dependency. So I have sent you a command on a chat.
Cool. Yeah, I think, and then the first thing I wanted to mention before this, you do need to have Node.js installed for this, right?
Yeah, Node.js a minimum requirement is like version 20 plus,
Mhm.
and npm version should be like 10 plus.
Okay. So I've already
Yeah.
installed it, but you could just go here. It's pretty quick to install and get Node.js installed, and that will then allow you to do everything that we're doing with Vite. Okay, so let me copy that command. So it is npm create, oops,
Yeah, go to new.
npm create Vite at latest. We'll run that. And so I'm just
So
assuming I create a project name.
yeah, like just add dot a period.
Okay.
So we already have a folder created. We just wanted to create
Okay.
the whole thing here. And now you can add your name as a package. Oh, a smaller case.
All right, let's go with that. There we go. All right, and
And
then
from here, like select the React,
okay,
then select the TypeScript. Yep.
okay,
Nope, we don't want. Yes, hit enter. And yes, we want to install all the dependency.
okay, sweet.
So the very first thing it looks like a lot of files, but main thing we are focusing on the source folder where all the React components are going to exist, right? So here we can see like why it's already set up like two components for us. One is like main and the other is an app. So it already like started the development server, so we can see our components right inside the local host. So if you like open that link.
Yeah, let me go back.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
it says like Y plus React, and it set up a pretty basic code, a boilerplate code. Very one thing, like we are going to scrape out a lot of things, like we are going to remove majority of like codes. But I want to like explain you, since you are new to React, I just want to explain like how React works and
Okay.
what actually. So can you quickly open app.tx?
Yes.
So
App.tsx.
yeah, so um, the very first thing is you notice like we are writing uh, html like syntax inside javascript code. So you can
Hmm.
see the function which is related to javascript. I think majority Webflow developer already know javascript, but they are might not aware about how React works. So this is how a React file looks like. It has the markdown html markdown markup over here, and
Hmm.
it's basically in React it called JSX. It allows you to write HTML markup inside a function or anywhere, and it's basically when you build the React project, it's convert to actual JavaScript code. So the whole logic is you are keeping your UI, your business logic and your style within a one file or on a same level.
Okay.
So for starter, like if you want to change, you can like remove all the HTML on the return argument, and like you can just write, let's just create a new div and
Yeah. So cursor, tell me hello
yeah,
world. We'll use that. So and then I
yep,
can just save that, go over there, and we can see that that's being rendered. So
yep.
basically,
So
like the
absolutely.
that's really nice.
Okay, so I think let's like start with the our first Webflow project. uh, so what we can do is like let's just remove uh,
There we go.
yep, so let's just remove everything inside the, let's not, no, sorry, let's remove app.css, app.tsx.
Just remove them completely or remove everything in there.
Just remove those both files, just delete out.
Okay. Sweet. Delete those. So we're getting rid of this whole file,
Yep,
app.tsx.
yep.
Okay, sweet. All right.
Now
Okay.
as soon as you did that, now let's just create a new component with, let's say, hello world dot tsx.
Okay.
uh, Okay, so there is a couple of rules on the React. The very first thing is you notice like we are ending the file with .tsx. Now, any file which ends with x, like it can be JSX or it can be TXS, those are related to React code. Um, and the second rule is like name your file with capital letter. It should start with a capital. So we can just like rename the hello world file with capital H.
Okay.
Awesome. And now we can start, yeah, our React code. So if you navigate to docs, like before like start writing, we need to install a couple of dependency that Webflow needs. So
Okay.
yeah, scroll down. So we already did like set up our React project already with different approach. Now we need to install Webflow CLI. So copy that command.
Cool. While I'm doing that, what could you kind of like share what a CLI is or like what does that stand for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, so CLI stands for command line interface. So
Okay.
within a terminal, you can interact with external systems, or it can be also internal. But with Webflow CLIs, you can interact with Webflow utilities or the endpoints.
Okay.
So you will see in a second when we are going to run it. But with this command, we are installing three dependencies. Now, again, dependency are like Webflow team already published this external packages for us, so we can reuse those in our project. So that's what we are doing over here. We are installing Webflow CLI. We are having the installing the data types for requiring for code components, and we are also installing React dependency which required by Webflow code component. So
Okay.
now it's installed. We can now go to the third step on the documentation.
Okay.
Yep. And as you can see, like now we need to create a Webflow configuration file over here. So on this particular thing, like create a webflow.json on the root of project.
Okay. Yeah. Go over there. Oh, oops. Don't want to do that. All right.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go.
Webflow.
Okay.
Yep.
And
And
then
now paste that
paste that over.
configuration. So in webflow.json, we are basically saying that, hey, this project is related to library, and
Mhm.
we know like we have a component library in our workspace that we can reuse on across sites. So we will name our library first. So what do you like to name it?
We'll just say Bradford's components.
Um, yeah, like convert into like, yep, wrap that on the string. So since
Cool.
we are writing JSON, we just went to it.
Yep.
And the other thing is like this already looks good, which is component regex, where we are stating that, hey, look inside src folder, and anything ends with webflow.tsx, jsx, or like any js file, use
Mm-hmm.
those as a component definition for us. So we
Okay.
already have like project setup with src. We already have SRC. We will just start going to creating stuff. So
Okay.
yep. And now if you like, the very first thing, like let's just start with the example which is present on doc.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, let's just copy this code
Okay.
and paste it on the hello world.tsx.
Okay.
Yep. So what this is actually doing is like, it's saying that, hey, this is the batch, the name of component is batch, and it
Mm-hmm.
accept props. So imagine like in Webflow, we add props to our component. We make text or images, or let's say style or attributes, dynamic with component props. So in React, it's pretty similar. Like component can accept props, and you can see like they would define a definition and line number 3 to between line number 3 to 6, that batch prop is accepting text and variant light and dark, right?
Okay.
So it's only accepting those two kind of variants. And then if you see on line number 8, there we are using component, yeah, on that line we are using that batch props as a definition of argument. So since we are using TypeScript, we are allowed to define types for arguments. So we can say that instead of just variable a, we can say that, hey, variable a is a type of number. So here we are saying that, hey, the argument is a type of text and variant as an object,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So
I see.
now we have like simple span HTML tag, and it has a style. So you can see like it, we are defining our styles over here, and based on the variant, we are like passing like, hey, if variant is equals to light, pass hashtag EE. So and so on. And if you are seeing like we are using text, the dynamic text on line number 20, that's how we are reusing our,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah, that's
And
how
then,
we are using.
and then this is like the variant going on here where you see
Yeah,
like
that,
the light
yeah,
is
that's
there.
yes. So
Okay.
that's a terminative operator. And
So this is
previous,
basically saying if this is light, it's this color. If it's not light, it's gonna be this color, which is like black. So
yep,
kind of that's how they're basically setting up the variant. And then they've created up here, this is like a Webflow component variant, kind of like that, where you've got your two variants in the props of a light and dark mode. Um, okay,
yeah.
I think I'm following. And then you've got your text here, which is gonna be inside of that span.
Yep. And now let's just save it and let's preview this component locally, right? So
Okay.
let's also, after saving, go to main.txs.
Okay.
And now instead of like app, we can import our hello world.tsx.
Okay. Does it need the caps though?
I I think cursor might be getting confused. One thing you can do if this happens, you do Command P
Okay.
and do an angle bracket and do restart TypeScript.
Restart what? TypeScript?
TypeScript.
This
Yep,
one?
TypeScript. Yep.
Okay.
And now type capital H. Here we go. It fixed. So
Okay.
sometime it happens through the curve. And let's also rename. So you see there is an error on app. It's saying that there is no default component export. So remove that app and like let's start. Yep, it's suggesting you right. So it says like, hey, we are importing app from hello world.txt. Sorry, batch. And now let's reuse on line number 8 instead of batch. Yeah, here it's already suggesting us that hey, component batch and text equals to hello world and variant light. So as you can now save it.
Okay.
And now if you go to let's also rerun our server. So on terminal type npm run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we stopped npm run dev.
Okay.
And now if you refresh the browser, we already see that batch at there. Now
Okay.
reason it's at the middle of page at left because on main.txt we are having a default styles. So I index.css. Yes.
Oh, yep. And that's like
Yep.
doing the alignment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But this if we link this style to our component, then and then it's going to link with code component. But it's okay for preview. Let's just go
Yeah.
with this.
Okay. Sweet.
Uh, so let's now define code component definition. So
Okay.
let's go to docs, and after that, yeah, define a Webflow code component. So now what they are suggesting is like create a new file with your component name .webflow.tss. So in our case, it's hello world.webflow.tsx.
Okay.
And I also want to like just scroll.
Is this a new file or do I rename this one?
No, a new file.
New file? Okay. Within
Yep.
source? Or
Yep.
okay. So
And
hello world.webflow.tsx.
yep. So the idea is like you are keeping your Webflow component definition separate from the actual component,
Oh, I see.
and this is just to maintain in a one place.
So this is
But
kind
I
of
like to
telling this is kind of telling it like this is just the thing that's letting it know that this component is going to be used in the Webflow component library because you may have a
correct.
React code base where you've got a ton of components, but you only want 3 of them to be Webflow code
Yeah,
components. So you're
yeah,
creating a file to kind of let it know that, right?
that's true. And also like some case like you are already have component but that are reused inside other components and the main component you want to export. So
Hmm.
that's how. So
Okay.
before now go to the documentation again,
Okay.
and if you scroll a little down on third step,
Okay.
let's just copy this thing and paste it over there. So it has an issue with line number 1. As you see, if you hover it, it says that the badge doesn't, and it's also giving a suggestion that rename to hello world. So yep,
Yeah.
this looks good. So what we are doing over here, we are basically using two major libraries from Webflow. The one is data type, which we are not using yet but we are going to use soon, and then Webflow React. So Webflow React is exposing a module called declare component, right, that function, and then we are reusing that function uh, on line number 5,
Okay.
where we are exporting that function what it's returning. But the major it is like we are on the first argument of that function we have the batch component
Hmm.
on the line number 5 itself.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's so we are importing our component, we are passing our component as an argument to declare component on the first parameter. On the second parameter, it's on having a config. So now this is the thing where it's going to display on Webflow. So this is our component name. So
So
if
we're
this is
basically
the
creating the
sorry, go ahead.
name. We're basically just telling Webflow, okay, this is a component I want to use. This is the name. This is what it's about. And this is kind of like how it's going to show up in Webflow once I'm like able to see the components in there, right?
True. So if like it doesn't matter what your component name is, you can always rename your component over here, like a display name is the name, the description about the component, and like what group it should be exist, right?
Yeah.
And if you know, like we have declared props to our component, which is text and variant. So now on the documentation they have explained like how you can use props.
Okay. Okay. Define component props.
Yep.
Should I
So
copy this whole thing or just a piece of it?
from line number 9,
Let's see. So they've added the props here. Okay.
yep, till there, till line number 19.
All right. There we go. Um, okay.
Yep,
So this is basically just like adding to it the props that we wanted to show up in Webflow, right?
true.
Cool.
And there are like couple of allowed props, that allow prop types, I would say, are like text variants. There is a list of things. So if you go to the uh, let me just go, let's not distract, but I will like select there. Once again, where are the props? Yeah, so on the left side you see prop types,
Okay.
and we get a glimpse of over here like text, rich text, text note, links, image, like all the things which are possible as a component prop. You can reuse, and you can define them on the uh, component definitions.
Cool. Yeah, this
Yep.
feels a lot more familiar to me. Like even though it is code, this just kind of feels like this is what we do in Webflow when we create a component prop. You give it a name, you set the default value, you're setting the type, whether it's going to be text, rich text, whether it's a variant. This seems pretty familiar, so I'm following
Yeah,
very well.
and also on the variant you see the on options we have declared the light and dark as an array, right?
Right. So
So
so if I wanted to add a third variant prop, I would just, go there and add something there. Right.
right,
Cool.
and let's save it. Yeah, and now is the final part where we are going to publish our component library, right?
Do I need
So
to
um,
this up here? I just noticed I'm getting like a warning on this one.
yeah, yeah, we can remove it by default, like it knows, the
The
white already knows that there will be the react.
okay.
uh, cool. Okay, let's, however I never removed it, but let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, now I want to like terminate the process going on terminal. And
So exit out of the terminal. So Control C.
yep, and now if we go back to the terminal, sorry, documentation, you see a little bit command to share your library to Webflow, right?
Okay.
So here we are using Webflow CLI, and we are saying that, hey, I want to share my library. So if you run this particular command,
Okay.
and it's going to open up the new yep, a new authentication on our terminal. So this is only the first time. Once you authenticate your workspace, um, now if you go back to terminal again, yep, Webflow CLI is installed, and help us to improve. Yes, we like to improve it. And there is an error. Let's add back the React line
Oh,
that we removed.
yeah. Okay.
Since we
What
are
is,
using,
where was it?
Go back. Yep.
This line, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Save it and let's now.
Just same command.
Yep. Oh, there is an error. Can you maximize the errors over?
Maximum.
Oh, I think we forgot to save our webflow.json.
Oh, okay. Oh, yep, you're right. Okay. Simple user error there. All right. That seems to work. So,
Yep. Now it's asking us like, what should we name your component library? And we like the name, so you can hit.
yep. Okay. Yes, it's secure. All right. Yes, we're ready to share.
Yep, and I guess this is also an important thing to highlight. Any packages that we are using our React code, since like many of us are now vibe coding, always make sure what dependency we are installing to our project. Double check everything. We are using a trusted source to install package, because sometimes we are going to use some vulnerable package and then it's going to like navigate to our code component too. Okay, I see that we face, and can you scroll back again? Um, let's can you also like move your screen to left a little bit so I can see?
Yeah, like there.
Yep. um, let's rerun the command again. Let's see what's.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, it's having an issue with compiling code. Okay, let's navigate towards the issue. It's a fun to.
The demo gods aren't in our favor right now.
Yeah. Um, let's do one more thing where let's just rename the folder that we have instead of like we have a spaces in our folder. So
Okay.
the Bradford code component we open and show in Finder or something.
Yeah. All right. Let me get to that in Finder.
It's fun.
Always fun when your doc just like doesn't want to come back up. All right. Let me find this.
Yeah, let's just remove every space on the folder.
Okay.
Yep. Of course, we need to uh, reopen our project in Cursor again because Cursor lost the track.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's open up the terminal again and
Okay.
yeah, select the previous command, hit enter. Yes. And
Okay.
here we go. So do
Right,
not
don't
have spaces.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't use spaces in your thing. So okay, now we can just go over to Webflow, right? And
Yep.
okay, so let's just create a new blank site here for this. And get in there. All right, so you're gonna go to the libraries, and then we're gonna see that we've got this this one here,
Yep.
and now once I've installed that, I can go over to my components, and we'll see. Boom, we've got our component, our little badge guy there.
Yep.
These are really cool because you can see the properties over here just work just like normal props. You've got your light and dark mode working perfectly. We can change that text out there. So this is cool. I mean, this is very simple, but like I love just how like that experience is really smooth of just going from React is not like we had to host this code anywhere, just a couple lines in the terminal, and we've got it in Webflow feeling so native. So this is awesome. Cool.
Yep. This is
Um,
fun.
should we take it a step
Okay.
further then?
Yeah. Let's take it further step. Let's ask Cursor what we need to do. Like, should we create a news feed from Hacker News?
Yeah, let's do that. I like that idea. So we're gonna create basically we just want to create like on our website, we want to use the Hacker News API to pull in, the top, let's say the top recent news posts.
Yep.
So we can ask
Okay.
Cursor to do that. Do I need to pass in, any of the docs for Cursor to use, or are we just
Not
gonna
now. Let's just ask Cursor that, hey, on inside SRC folder, create a Hacker News feed with, let's say, top 5 news feed, and just add it to main.txt.
Okay, so we're just gonna basically add it locally first, then we'll export to Webflow.
Yep.
So within the source folder, create a file that has a news feed from Hacker News with the top 5 recent articles. Let's try that.
So I think this is a great use case where we are basically making a component which is fetching a data from external API. And
Yeah,
if ideally we want to build this on a Webflow, like we can build the whole UI and export it with Devlink, but like we still need to configure with JavaScript and attributes and those. So this is going to save a lot of time. Like we just create a component which has all the business logic and
yeah.
publish to our library.
No, this would save so much time. And also just like I love like the ability to do this all just within Cursor. Whereas like if you're trying to do this just on top of Webflow, like even if you're using AI's help, there's a lot of ways you can make mistakes and kind of where to put things. There's still quite a bit of like knowledge you need to have.
Yeah.
Okay,
So let's see. Let's open the file and see what it. So open up this SRC folder. So
okay,
we can see it built this thing, right? Now let's ask like, hey, can you import the Hacker News feed on a main file?
yeah.
Also, like I think we should also move our screen to left more so
Oh
user
yeah,
can.
good call. Okay, let me just pop this. Okay,
I
there
think
we
we
go.
can like have the width, but we can like reduce the height.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and so like cool.
There we
I
go.
think that's good to go.
Okay, we'll prompt that. Okay,
And now if we do npm run dev, So it removed the our batch component and added the hacker news thing. But
Okay.
let's just preview it.
Nice.
And here
Cool.
we go. Yeah, now if you remember, like we now if we want to add this component to our Webflow, we need to declare Webflow code
Yeah.
component configuration. So I will give you a little bit trick to
Okay.
make this faster. So go to prop or prop types, and you see that copy page. Yep, and view as markdown. Copy that URL and let's feed this to cursor. Then ask like, hey, can you create component configuration file for me?
Cool.
I think you also need to um, remove .env file from. It's going to leak your token. Anyway, like we are going to after the stream, we need to remove the Webflow to refresh the token, but close the env file that is open on cursor. Yeah.
Just,
No. Close. It's open in a tab.
oh, I see.
Yep. Don't copy our environment. If anyone is on chat.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, yeah, let's accept the changes. So let's see what it did on webflow.txt. So we see a new file now, hacker news feed.webflow.txt, and it defined everything for us from prop types to a number. So there is an issue with a description. Can you hover? Oh, there. I feel that. One second. Yeah, there is no description. So let's just remove the description. I think the description might be a different one. It's a tooltip. So we can add it back, but rename description to tooltip.
Okay.
Yep.
Step.
Yep. That's not supported. Let's remove.
Just remove it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure we can easily fix the documentation, but yep.
Cool.
Yep, I think this looks good. Now we can publish our live component again.
Oops. So we're going
npx
in command, npx webflow library share. We're going to say yes, we're ready to update. It's going to compile them. Cool. All right, let's see if we did it. So we're going to go over to our libraries panel.
review changes, and we can see we have a new component. Let's just add it.
Accept all updates. Then we can go into our components and boom, hacker news feed. Let's see it.
So
Beautiful.
if you see, like now we can control even how many numbers of news feed we want, right?
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
you like this is the power of like code command. We can see the changes right inside
Yeah.
the designer without going to the preview. Of course, like when we are changing the variants, but yeah, we have everything. And the great part is like the server side rendering is by default on for every component. So that means like if we have SEO concerns about the website, it's going to work out of the box.
Yeah. This is awesome. No, I just love how like easy that is to like control there. And I think like there's a ton of value in that, in the sense that like, you know, if let's say I had a YouTube feed and I wanted to show like my YouTube feed from my channel or something on a bunch of different pages on my site, but control, the amount of videos shown, maybe the category of videos shown, I could create a React code component for that, create properties, and then easily add that to a bunch of different pages and customize it from there. So this is awesome. Do we want to go any further? Or should we just kind of pause there and now I think
I think
let's pause there and we might do another one here. I think this is a good first start, but let's talk kind of back to our initial slide here. Let's do a quick Q&A. We got about 10 more minutes on this and talk through pros and cons. What's kind of good about this? Maybe what are some of the downsides people might not notice? Let's go there.
Yep. If anyone on chat has any question, can post. But yeah, like Bradford, like we can get started. So the very first thing is like, as I said, make sure the SSR are enabled, and which is enabled by default. But we have a configuration where we can disable the SSR. So if we are facing an issue with the SEO, it's not rendering the page, then that's the very second thing is like always use code components wisely, because this is actually loading JavaScript and styles externally when the page loads. So it's surely going to add some performance or the page size. So if we look at the page size, you can like see like how many it's loading the whole React component. So if we are building a component which can easily build on React, which can easily build on Webflow. If you are building a very complex UI, which is, let's say, product configurator or maps or store locator, then use code component, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I think that kind of brings us to like one of the questions I've had a lot with code components is they are really powerful. And I guess like one of the most appealing things to me with them is like how it handles kind of the management of the code in such a nice way. We're not having to copy this code and paste it, in an embed on the page or paste it in the project settings. Like it's all kind of hidden behind the scenes. We have control over it. We can edit it. But then I get just this really nice interface within Webflow, which would be really easy for, like, I love how bomb proof this feels for any marketer, anyone who doesn't really know code could use this, play with the properties, but not do anything beyond that. And they don't have to keep anything in mind about what they can and can't do. So like initially I was kind of like, do code components become a replacement for a lot of maybe the more complex or clunky workarounds that we have for building different things in Webflow, things like CMS sliders, things that we would typically, need to use like FinSuite attributes for or something else. Do code components replace that in the future? And Virat, I guess it sounds like for you, maybe one of the downsides of that is that code components are always going to be heavier, likely than if you can, let's take the CMS slider example. You could definitely build that as a code component. But the problem is by using that as a code component, you're bringing in a bunch of this React stuff when you load the page that you wouldn't be if you're just building that with just, vanilla JavaScript or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Like CMS slider still makes sense, but what I'm seeing, like if that particular UI or a logic is very simple, it's a 2-line JavaScript, then do not convert it to a code component. Keep it inside a Webflow with a UI and 2 lines of JavaScript. But if it's going beyond, if it's very complex, a little bit complex is going, then like convert it to code component, right? For example, like in a DTC site like store configurator or product configurator, right, where there are the 3D stuffs and like users can like select the colors and rotate the shoes around, something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely convert into code components so anyone can reuse those components across the site and visually can view how the components can look like and build around it.
Yeah. So kind of more complex stuff that, you just couldn't do very easily without it is a great use case for code components. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess like maybe we can talk through kind of styling challenges here. I guess pros and cons of just how styling works with code components. We haven't really mentioned that. So kind of from my understanding from just like going through this demo and looking into it a bit more, basically how the styling works with these code components is that all of the styles live um, for this within your React project. And so like we could go back over here and see like that index.css. This is like where all the styling is living for everything. Um, and even you'll notice like these do have classes here. Like we've got like a button class. The interesting thing with this is these styles are kept within their React component. They don't interact or conflict with your Webflow side at all, which is a big bonus because you wouldn't want
Yep.
that to happen. You wouldn't want to bring in a code component and then have all these styles clashing. But in a way, a downside of this is that this basically like making a reusable code component that you style from within Webflow is a little bit more challenging because you can't just write a little bit of C. I couldn't go in here to this code component and say, hey, I want a different color of this heading. I'm going to just go write a little bit of CSS and add it, and that's going to edit it. Nothing you write on the site is going to be able to style this. The only way you can really customize styles here is either going into the code base, changing it there, or creating a prop so that you can you can control that style or that color here. So definitely could
True.
be seen as a pro in a lot of use cases, but also maybe a bit of a downside in the sense that with other kind of workarounds we have, other CMS sliders or things like that, you're used to being able to just write whatever CSS you'd want to be able to control the visuals of it. So
True. And I think like that's like based on the understanding you said, like it's correct. However, like I want to also highlight to viewers, if you just quickly go to documentation there on the core concept, so scroll up and core concept, there is component architecture.
okay.
Yep. Go through this is basically explaining how the code component works, what is the shadow dom, and how it works. However, there is a way to bring your styles and variables to your React code component, the Webflow styles. But I think the by default it renders into shadow dom, which don't affect your rest of the styles of your Webflow sites. That's actually a plus
Yeah.
point that you, as you mentioned, like we don't want that. But definitely I want everyone to go through the core concepts, the component architecture and styling components, because that's explaining how you can leverage the shadow dom, the stylings and those
Cool.
things.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, I didn't mention that you can bring in, that's like the other way you can kind of bring stuff in is through the variables. So you can essentially write your code component so that it pulls in, your H1 variable or like your button color variable. And then that does kind of make it I guess, cross site compatible where I could have, you know, use the same code component on 10 sites in my workspace, but those sites could be using those variables differently to control the styling. So still not maybe quite as familiar to us as how we would do it with CSS, but there's definitely still a way to do that to kind of make it happen, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, definitely, like there are like different possibilities. We can also use devling to bring styles, but yeah, I guess that's the concept of the whole new video or new
Yeah,
stream.
definitely something we can go in deeper in a future stream. But yeah, I think this is really cool. I think just for myself playing around with code components, I definitely see like just I think kind of why I think this is awesome is just this is the type of stuff that like I wouldn't have been able to do ever, with my level of knowledge. Like I just wouldn't be creating something like this. It's pulling in a third party API and rendering it. So like it'd probably take me hours and hours to watch tutorials and piece it together and be able to create that. Whereas, within we did it in about 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the stream. I was able to get this up and on the site. So I think
Yeah,
that's one of the
true.
huge values with code components is if you're someone who's just trying to get something done fast and you don't need it to be perfect. Maybe you don't need it to be the fastest, most performant thing, but you need to do something pretty complex. You can use code components, connect it to Cursor or Claude or whatever your preferred AI tool is, and just go from there, and really
Yep.
really code. And especially, I know Webflow is coming out with their AI version of code components too, which is going to make that even easier for us. But I think it's just, this is a huge kind of step forward in just like us what us people who aren't super familiar with code can do inside of Webflow and get done in a short amount of time. I think it's awesome. So definitely really excited for what people are going to build with this. We'll be talking more about it, probably do another stream here to go a bit deeper, but we'd love to hear, if any of you guys have questions, feel free to ping us on, social media. Let us know what you want to learn more about or hear more about, but we're hoping to do more of these coming up. So any
Awesome.
final thoughts, Virat?
Yep, excited to see what folks are communities building with code components. So feel free to tag us on social media if you find this video useful. And yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you around.
Yeah.